Welcome back to another episode of Oxygen Not Included, everybody. I have done a little bit in between episodes that I'm going to show off real quick before we get started on our new rocket. One thing is that I forgot to show when I was finishing up this boiler last episode. All this magma on the left-hand side had turned into igneous rock. Over time, the heat balanced out, and so now most of it has turned back into magma. And so the heat's balanced across here. So it's working just great, and still pumping away, making petroleum for us. Almost done pumping out this system. We'll clear that up, and then we'll do a little more work on this another day. But not today. We've done enough with petroleum boilers for a while. I did have some issues up here in our power system that I wanted to fix before we started working on the rocket. And I've done that, so I want to show them off as soon as this autosave is done, interrupting my day. The more stuff I build, the longer these autosaves take. Sometimes they're up to like a minute, but looks like it's not so bad today. We had a bunch of polluted water had gotten into, or was in these pipes, and then they heated up too much, and they broke, and they turned into steam, and they flooded my slickster system with polluted water, which made so that the slicksters couldn't survive on this lower level. So you can see that these are all empty. I fixed that. I got rid of all the polluted water that was down here. I added in on this pump where it's taking the oil out. I added in a system over here that filters it. So basically it's going in here, it's getting stored in these two tanks. Excess is dropping out into here, and then the pump pumps it back in. Well, there's some polluted water you can see got in here from that. It's still in there, just going to let it go. Because what I did is I'm pumping the oil out. It's going through this filter. So if it's oil, it goes through this line. If it's not oil, it goes through this vent, which just drops it off down here. It goes through all this stuff, and it eventually makes its way down to the bottom of the map where it gets handled. I ran this line up here because I needed to fill up this pipe. I put in a new pipe going through that is connected to our cooling system down here that can do very cold cooling. So the oil is letting it do cooling down much lower than we would have. It's going to take a while for it to cool everything down because it's running oil through that's over 100 degrees. But this is as fast as it can, stabilizing it. This is the line that's going up to the line on the left side used to go up to the sleet wheat, and I swapped them, so it's taken a while to cool this back down, but I don't need any more berry sludge anytime soon, so it's fine. It will eventually get to that point. But so now we have oil going through here, going all the way up to the top here, and it is going across, and for now it's just cooling off the top level of here. So it's cooling on the top generators. I probably will connect it up to this entire loop, which will cool down some more. I'll probably do some more work on that in the future. But for now, I just wanted it to cool things down so that I get the steam out of there. So I'm working on the steam in two ways. I have this cooling loop going through, and it's cooling the area, so the steam's eventually going to cool down, turn to water. It'll drop down here. It'll get picked up into this pump, taken over to the oil storage, and it'll automatically sort itself out. But at the same time, I reconnected the gas filter. And so any of this steam that's going up through, it's getting filtered back out and going out into the outside here, where it's slowly cooling down, turning back into water, which is fine. It would go faster if I could get this carbon dioxide to empty. But the carbon dioxide is going in where the steam is pressurized. So I don't mind. It's fine. Everything's still running. So it'll slowly work itself out, and that'll be fine. I do need to keep an eye because once that steam gets cooled down enough, it'll just turn into water, and the water will drop down here into the collection system, and it'll flood in to here. So what I did is I made it so that this oil for now is set to pump out if it's below 2,000, which means it always will pump. So anything coming through, that means that this liquid will stay pretty low. It'll still cause problems once it condenses, and it will have a layer of water on top here that's going to make it so that the slicksters will not be able to live on the bottom level. Won't be an issue. We'll handle it when it comes about. I have an extra 40 million calories of food, so it's not the end of the world that I can't produce food at the highest level. I had to remove all the polluted water, but these little traps will be fine once we get the slickster population back up and they start going in there. The slickster will go in there and just kind of chill, but in that little room, he will have carbon dioxide to eat. Eventually, he will eat it, drop down the liquid and crude oil, and that will cause it to die, and we'll be back on track. So we'll be set. So I'm not going to take the time to put oil in there because it would be a real pain, so it's not worth it. Okay, so that's all the things I did in between episodes. We also, in that time, had time to get all of our research done. So now we have the ability to do the monuments. And so that was our very final piece of research. So we've researched the entire tree, which means we've got a colony achievement for that. It's going to take a moment for that to load up. But so I wanted to show you that achievement so we can see that you got it done. So we got honorary doctorate, which is to unlock every item in the research tree, which was quite a thing to do. So now as far as the base game achievements, next thing we have to do is Critter Whisperer, and all we have to do to get that is tame a Pacu and a Gassy Moo. So we'll have to get some Pacu somewhere and do that one. Probably have to get them out of a printable, so we'll have to start watching those again until we can get one. Maybe set up a system for it. This, some reservations, is pretty simple. We just need to build 4 nature reserves. I think I can probably do that with Gorgani, where I still have a lot of natural tiles. It'll be easier. If not, I'll have to do some trickery to create some natural tiles and have pips plant crops in them. But I don't really want to go that way. The find and tame a Gassy Moo will get completed when we complete this one. This one is to bring a building down to 6 Kelvin, which means that we need to get some more efficient cooling, which involves going to space to get it. So that's what we're going to work on with our petroleum rocket. The transit tubes I still need to set up and get some duplicates moving around. And then for the getter room, we just have a few rooms we need to make. But one of those is the nature reserve. So once we start doing that, we'll work on the rest of these and get it done. Then that is, we still have one more. Block a meteor from hitting your base using a bunker door. I'm not quite sure how this works. I have bunker doors up there. Haven't been getting meteors. I don't know if I don't get meteors on the starting asteroid, and then maybe I have to do it on one of the farther ones out. I just don't know. I'll have to look into it. But that's it for the base game achievements. We may look into some of the spaced out DLC achievements after that. But for now, that's our goals. So there's not too many things left to do before we finish the achievement run. But the very next thing we want to do is start going farther into space. So this area is almost cooled off. I can go in there and tear it apart, get all this liquid out of here, start pumping that out. And then I have to get somebody up here to finish this petroleum engine. Not quite sure why they haven't gone to do it. Just because it's a low priority build, I guess. Let's set it on 9. Get somebody build it. But so there's going to be a lot of work here to get this all set up the way I want it to. I want to remove this old steam system. I want to add some more things onto the rocket. We're going to have to set up a pump to bring petroleum up here to fuel the petroleum engine. So I'm going to do all of that off camera, and then when I come back, we should have a rocket ready to go, and we can start figuring out what we need to do as far as making sure the rocket's ready to go for a long-term mission, which we should still be set up mostly for that, so we'll work on it. But and then we can start heading off into space and do some fun stuff out there. So I'll be back once I have that all set up, and we can start working on that. Time to check in on a few things. We are removing this steam system still. Rocket is now built up to have quite a few things on it. I'm going to go through them one at a time so you can see what we have. So we have a drill cone, which makes it so we can drill into interstellar debris and collect gases, liquids, solids, and resources. We have an artifact transport module, so we can store artifacts when we uncover them in space. We still have our little power set up with the battery and the solar panel. We have a cartographic module, which means while we're out doing our thing, we scan the space nearby it. Still have my Spacefarer module. We haven't changed anything inside there yet. I have a large liquid fuel tank to store petroleum, and I have the petroleum engine. Still a couple things I want to add to it. I want to have storage for items that we pick up in space. That'll be the next thing I work on. We're getting pretty close to the top height of our rocket, though, so may have to mess around to get it just right. This area we're slowly sealing off so that it is... Oh, I don't want that on priority. Yellow alert. I want to just put it on 9. That's fine. Choose the priority there so we can get the deconstruction. Just moving this oil over. I'm going to put the liquid lock over on the side. And we're vacuuming everything out. This is almost empty, actually. It's getting pretty close. So that's all doing well. We changed some things up here so that the carbon dioxide is now getting pumped back down again, because I just needed to get it out of there so that we can just keep working on the steam. We're slowly removing all the steam. There was a ton of it in here, literally, and we're dumping steam out here, and it's cooling off. So I put up a wall here. Still getting a little bit on this side. I may increase that, but mostly it condenses over here, and then I have a wall built here so that it drops down and it flows over and into our water tank, which is actually getting really full, so we may need to start doing something more to handle that. Our coolant system is cooling slowly, but it's going to take a long time for this to be able to handle getting it cooled down, but once it does, it'll get it nice and cool. Problem is that this is heating up this back system so bad that it's taken a while. Eventually this will get down to really cold temperatures, and so will this, and it'll cool everything down. But we're pulling a lot of heat out of this system in here. A lot. I mean, we have so much heat that we're damaging doors and stuff. We may need to replace those in a little bit. Everything in here is working now, so that's good. We're just pulling everything out. Everything down here is still working. Like I said, this room got some slicksters in it. They came down and they filled up the little evolution chamber with oil for me, which is great. Slowly filling the rest back up. Still plenty of food. Not a worry there. I've started ripping out some of our old systems and making some changes there. It's going to take some time to get it all out, but we're working on it. Our oil setup, I changed a couple of little things. I just made it so that this oil is flowing out. Now it's still going up here to the top to provide oil to this loop, because I was filling it up. It's full now, so I'm going to disconnect that in a little bit. This tank has enough in it that it can have a reservoir to cool, which is what we wanted. But other than that, the oil is directed downwards through this pipe. It goes all the way down to the bottom of the mat. And then that oil gets dropped off in the line that comes from this oil well. So basically, it takes the oil well oil first, but then it tops it off with the oil from the slicksters. So this line is always full to the max, 10 kilograms of oil. So I changed it up down here so that that oil goes into the middle one, so that we're definitely sending oil to both sides every time, because when it comes out here, it splits 50-50. So that way we can keep some oil flowing in on both sides of this to make sure oil's flowing, because I was having issues with the pipes breaking if they got completely empty. They seem to be good now. I did decrease the amount of aluminum piping so that the oil didn't get too hot. It means it's coming in a little colder, but we have such a large reservoir of petroleum that it works just fine. So may actually reduce it even a little more just to guarantee I don't have any pipes break. So yeah, that's the state we're in. We're still stockpiling petroleum. I need to put a pump up here so that we can start filling this rocket. But the main thing I want to do is continue to work on the rocket to get exactly what I need for it. So I'm still playing around with that. I need to put a couple more things in. When I get those in, I'll come back and we'll do a launch. So I'm still running towards getting the rocket set up. Just checking in down here at the boiler. Everything's working good. All the sour gas is almost out. I'm pretty happy with this project now that I've gotten everything dialed down on it. A little bit more stuff to clean up, but it's working really well. I'm producing a decent amount of petroleum. It's not really creating any excess because I'm burning off a lot. I'm gonna have to change some things up in here with the ratios and stuff because I'm gonna starting to need to stockpile petroleum. Problem I'm having now though is I set up build command to build some pipes to go up to the rocket so I can start fueling it, and I realized I was not getting anybody working on it. Maybe one person, just a tiny bit, even though it's at a high priority. So I looked into it to see what the problem was, and the problem is that all of my duplicates are trapped inside the base because all their suits wore out, and even though I had set up a reed fiber farm, the reed fiber wasn't growing. First of all, because of body temperature. So I made some changes to the piping to try to bring the temperature back up, and it's getting there. Very close. But even these ones that are high enough temperature to grow aren't growing because they're not getting much fluid. And what happened is some water got into our filtration system and filled this all up. So I emptied it all out. Now all of these have nothing but water in it, and these pipes are done better so that they only get polluted water. The only polluted water coming in is from our toilets and from our power system, and we're just not getting a lot. It's coming, but it's coming slow. I want to change this back up to 100. So this isn't going to run until it's full again, which is fine, but yeah, it's going to take a while before we get these reed fibers growing fully again. Every time that some fluid comes by, it gets all the way down here to grow some, and then they run out of polluted water again. Not the end of the world. I could set up a pump over here to get some of the polluted water out of here. I think I'm just going to let it go and let it build itself back up again. I have 40 suits that can be repaired, so they're slowly repairing them. I'm going to set this at, yeah, it's already set at 9. So it's running low on reed fiber is what the problem is. So right now I only have 0.38 reed fiber, not enough to do a suit. So as soon as a reed fiber grows, it'll make another suit. Another person can leave and go do some more work. So that's going to take some time. But I'm going to show you off what I did with the rocket. I added in a gas cargo canister, a liquid cargo tank, a large cargo bay. Then we saw all these other ones that were here. I ended up taking the battery power off. I'm working on changing things up in here. In here, I didn't need the machine we had in here to make data banks anymore, so I am trying to put in a power wheel so I can power everything in here. Just trying to figure out what all I can take out and shift around to get everything to work. This I can take out because it's just not working. This has the algae in it, so let's copy this, we'll put that over here, and then we can get rid of this one, and then I can put a battery in. Because that's what the other thing I need, a smart battery. That way they can power themselves. I think that's what I'm going to try to do. But, so the idea is to make it so that this is self-sustaining. They can power the oxygen in here. The duplicate's not going to have a lot to do while on this mission, except, power things up. So that should be fine. So yeah, I'm going to take some time to get that built. Everything's going slow because I don't have any duplicates able to come out and do the work. But we'll get that fixed. We may have to change up our reed farm a little bit. We may have to get a sustainable source of polluted water going in there. Well, I'm not sure. I mean, I could always take polluted water coming from here and run it up so that it's dedicated, or like I said, I have a ton of it in here, so I could pull that over. But for now, it's just slowly growing back up. Once we get enough get all those repaired, it'll start stockpiling again too, now that it's growing. But with it running out of irrigation every few minutes, it's just going slow. So I'm going to come back one more time for this episode. I'm going to work on getting the rocket ready to go. Hopefully we can see a launch before we end this episode. If not, we'll do it for the next one. But pretty happy with the progress we're making. So I'll see you back in a few minutes once I get a few more things sorted out. Found the perfect solution to our reed fiber problem. And it's that Sai's family has been hoarding reed fiber on the Gargani colony for quite a while. I came over here, I had 3,500 units of reed fiber grown from this little reed fiber planters here, this little farm. They're just growing periodically, here and there, but they're growing. And somehow I got a bog hook in there. I think this pit placed it. Anyway, I sent 1,500 of that reed fiber back through our teleporter. So now, over here, rather than wait for reed fiber, let's look at it. We have 1,500 reed fiber again. So now the few people that can get out can go pick that up from the teleporter. Teleporter output, where is that on here? Right here. So a crap load of reed fiber. So what we're going to do is just do a high level sweep. Take it all back to base. Get all those suits repaired up. And then everybody will be able to be happy again and run out and do all their work. You carrying reed fiber for me? Yep, 1,000 grams of reed fiber. They're only carrying one. If you're carrying a crap load, that would be better, but we'll get them back over there. The more we get in, the more suits will get made, and the more we'll get it going. So it's going to take a little while to get all those suits prepared, get everything back up, but that means we'll have enough that we can wait for this to become sustainable again, and start stockpiling reed fiber again. So it's all good. I think we're going to have to wait till next episode to see the launch for my new petroleum rocket, which is good. That'll give me some time to get it set up exactly how I want. I want to change up this Spacefarer module so it's a little more set, because I want to have this rocket in space for quite a bit. Which means I need to make sure it's stocked up with rad pills and everything like that. Though I think we're pretty set on that. There's the algae. This is our food, berry sludge. We have 400,000 calories of berry sludge in here. That'll last us a good while. The dirt I don't think we need, but this one is our rad pills. We have 100 kilograms. So that's enough for 100 cycles in space. The dirt was for this crop here, so let's remove this. Well, I'll mess around with this outside of the time we have once I get it figured out exactly how I'm going to change things up. And then next episode we'll do some space exploration for sure. Sending out our rocket and get a bunch of cool new stuff so we can play with it. But this episode's getting pretty long, so we're going to call it a day for here. Hope you enjoyed watching. Hit that subscribe button. Leave me a comment. Hit the like button if you like the episode. Any feedback is great. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.